Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. Now this is the second case of my brother's records. He's got 5 cases and I'm going through them all just to show you what he's got. I haven't got a clue what's in this one, although I have a sneaky feeling it might be the Bob Dylan one. I just don't know. So we'll get on with this with the second case. So I've just opened this up and I was wrong. It's not Bob Dylan, it looks like the Beatles plus a few others. So first up, rock and roll music from 1976, and this is the one that gets slated for the cover but not for the music. I think he must have got that one that actually came out. The Beatles, the Blue Album 1967 to 1970 that everybody knows about, which has now been extended. So there's some mixed up in here. Ringo Starr, Blast from Your Past, and I think this is the red Apple label with the cardboard inner. Well, I'm right on one and I'm right on the other. This is, I think, basically all you need from Ringo Starr, to be honest with you. Blast from Your Past, it's a pretty good album. The Monkees, and this is the Best of the Monkees, and this is a music for pleasure album with 11 tracks on it, but all the big hits are on it, like Monkey's Theme, Last Train to Clarksville, Daydream Believer, Listen to the Band, I'm a Believer, Pleasant Valley Sunday. Very, very good album. This is Beatles for Sale, and he bought it for £3.90, and this is the one where you get the album from the inside. The Very Best of Jim Reeves, and there's nothing in this. It must be in a different record, but I know he does have that album, and there's 20 tracks on this and it is excellent. Yellow Submarine. I think this is the last Beatles album they actually bought, you know, of the originals. Elvis Costello and Almost Blue, the country album from 1981 with Sweet Dreams and Good Year for the Roses. John and Yoko, Milk and Honey from 1984. Okay, and Magical Mystery Tour from, well, it's obviously 67 in America, but it wasn't an album here until 1978 or 78 or something like that there, and it's got the booklet and all in it. Just wonder what label this is on, because this would be a British copy, I would think. So this one is on the Parlophone label. Mine is on the Capitol label, the sort of a rainbowy one, but it's a reissue obviously from the 2000s or the 2010s. John Lennon, Imagine, and I do believe he has got the poster in here, which I remember being on his wall, and postcard, but there's no lyrics with it. Mine was in a lyric bag, which is surprising, but yeah, a very heavily played album back in the day. Double Fantasy with Yoko Ono, and this was obviously bought before John Lennon was killed because he was a huge fan. Rock and Roll, I just don't really like this album at all, although I really like the version of Peggy Sue. Hard Day's Night, and these Beatles albums are all 70s presses. The Beatles Rarities. So this was a standalone from the box, and this cost them £3.45. Let It Be. Now, if memory serves me right, this is the second one he bought, and he sold the first, and I think this is actually white vinyl. And I'm right, it is white vinyl. And this was one of those UK export albums that he got, and whenever he got this he sold the one he had, and I believe he's done the same with Abbey Road, but he gave his other copy of Abbey Road to me, which I still have. So that's a little bit of a rarity. The Red Album, the Complete Silver Beatles, I don't know how often he actually played that. Please Please Me. There's actually one Beatles UK album he never bought, and I'll tell you, because I just noticed down here the next one. So this is the debut album. And then we have the Beatles' second album, the American one, and I think this is on Apple. It is. And he bought this out of a shop in Korean called Smith's, who often had American imports. Help. Another American one, Beatles' sixth. I think this too is on Apple. Yeah. Very hard stock, the card. Another American one, Meet the Beatles. And because he had all those albums, he never ever got Met with the Beatles on vinyl. He did it on CD though. Rubber Soul. This is a bit of a boring one because it's all Beatles by the looks of things. Revolver. Sergeant Pepper. And here we come to Abbey Road. Now this is the one that should be, if I remember, on green vinyl. And it is. So I don't know how well these play actually, because I know coloured vinyl back in the day was not as good as black. A white album, and it's got all the inners in it. I remember he had all the inners. Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl, 1977 I think, and this was £3.35 new. The Beatles tapes from David Wigan interviews. Oh, there's a and that, which is quite nice. The Beatles live at the Star Club, Germany, 1962, double album, and it cost a £5. What's this one here? Here the Beatles tell all live in person interviews recorded during their latest American tour. And then with John Lennon, Plastic Ono Band, Live Peace in Toronto. Don't know if there's anything that came with that. No, it's just the ordinary record. John Lennon, Plastic Ono Band. Now you know John Lennon's his favourite because he files them after the Beatles first. And John Lennon sometime in New York City with the 2 discs. John Lennon live in New York City, and this is in the shrink, and it looks as if the shrink has maybe stuck to the actual sleeve, which makes you think, should you keep stuff in the shrink? The Beatles Rarities again, but this is the American version. Men Love Avenue by John Lennon. Bouquets of Blues by Ringo Starr. And Ringo's Rotogravure. And then Ringo, which is on the Music for Pleasure label, so it doesn't have the original gatefold, and I don't think there's any inners in this. No, there's not, so the booklet's not there either. Ringo again, and Goodnight Vienna. John Lennon again with Walls and Bridges. John Lennon again with Shaved Fish. I think it's a really good comp actually. John Lennon again with Mind Games, and this is my favourite John Lennon album, and it cost him £3.90. And then we have a couple more. Pink Floyd, Obscured by Clouds. And lastly, no, not lastly, Pink Floyd, The Wall. And lastly for this box, so I don't know how this one creeped in, Christopher, Best Moves. And this is before, he became very successful, so it was a very early 80s collection, or I don't even know if it was the 70s or 80s, might have been the late 70s. That's the one with the space band came travelling on it. So that's box number 2, very, very Beatles heavy. So I'm glad to get that over and done with. I know there's one with McCartney and Harrison in it as well, so I don't know if that'll be box 3, 4 or 5, but until then, that's me for now. All the best now. Bye bye.